The dictator in the turban died and was replaced by a dictator in a Western business suit. Now that he looked like all the other leaders, observers detected a certain relaxing intention. Something in the air said the weather was changing. And if you looked up at the sky and squinted, you could almost see the faint dollar signs embossed upon the big migrating clouds, sucking up cash in one place, raining it down in another. Meanwhile, I was trying to get across town to my brother-in-law's funeral, speeding through yellow lights, arriving late, taking my place in a line of idling cars outside the cemetery, having to wait with everyone else because no one had gotten the code number to punch into the keypad on the automatic gate. Cold day. The neighborhood, ugly and poor like a runny nose, a reminder of misery in the world. And Barney was dead. Big party boy Barney, famous for his appetite and lack of self-control. Now needing an extra large coffin, as if he was taking his old friends, drinking, eating, and smoking, into the hole with him. Later, at the reception, I saw my beautiful ex-wife wearing a simple black dress that showed off her beautiful neck, standing next to a man I would like to call her future second ex-husband. A long time since she and I had been extinct, but still I found inside myself a fierce desire to go over and tell her it wasn't my fault, and struggled for a moment with that ridiculous self-serving urge before taking myself elsewhere. Upstairs, looking for a place to be alone, I found a television turned on and abandoned in a room, churning out pictures and light against a wall. Images of crowds marching down streets, past burning, overturned cars. People in robes gathered outside embassies and throwing stones. Even with the sound off, not even knowing the name of the country, I thought that I could understand what they were protesting about, what had made them so angry. They wanted to be let out of the TV set. They had been trapped in there, and they wanted out. After seeing the nature documentary, we walked down Canyon Road onto the plaza of art galleries and high-end clothing stores, where the mock orange is fragrant in the summer night and the smooth adobe walls glow flesh-like in the dark. It is just our second date, and we sit down on a bench, holding hands, not looking at each other. And if I were a bull penguin right now, I would lean over and vomit softly into the mouth of my beloved. And if I were a peacock, I'd flex my gluteal muscles to erect and spread the quills on my Cinemax tail. If she were a female walking stick bug, she might insert her hypodermic proboscis delicately into my neck and inject me with a rich hormonal sedative before attaching her egg sac to my thoracic undercarriage. And if I were a young chimpanzee, I would break off a nearby tree limb and smash all the windows in the plaza jewelry stores. And if she was a Brazilian leopard frog, she would wrap her impressive tongue 3 times around my right thigh and pummel me lightly against the surface of our pond, and I would know her feelings were sincere. Instead, we sit a while in silence until she remarks that in the relative context of tortoises and iguanas, human males seem to be actually rather expressive. And I say that female crocodiles really don't receive enough credit for their gentleness. And she suggests that it is time for us to go to get some ice cream cones and eat them. And when we were 8 or 9, our father took us back into the Alabama woods, found a great big log, and with his hunting knife pried off a slab of bark to show the 100 kinds of running bugs and grubs that we would have to eat in time of war. The ones who will survive, he told us, staring at us hard, are the ones who are willing to do anything. Then he popped one of those pale slugs into his mouth and started chewing. And that was lesson number 4 in the Green Beret Book of Child Rearing. I looked at my pale, scrawny, knock-kneed, bug-eyed brother, who was identical to me, and saw that in a world that ate the weak, we didn't have a prayer. And next thing I remember, I'm working for a living at a boring job which I'm afraid of losing, with a wife whose lack of love for me is like a lack of oxygen, and this dead thing in my chest that used to be my heart. Oh, if he were alive, I would tell him, "Dad, you were right. I ate a lot of stuff far worse than bugs. And I was eaten. I was eaten. I was picked up and chewed and swallowed down into the belly of the world." After I heard "It's a Hard Rain's Gonna Fall," played softly by an accordion quartet through the ceiling speakers at the Springdale shopping mall, I understood. There's nothing we can't pluck the stinger from. Nothing we can't turn into a soft drink flavor or a t-shirt. Even serenity can become something horrible if you make a commercial about it, using smiling, white-haired people quoting Thoreau to sell retirement homes in the Everglades, where the swamp has been drained and bulldozed into a 19-hole golf course with electrified alligator barriers. "You can't keep beating yourself up, Billy," I heard the therapist say on television to the teenage murderer, about all those people you killed. "You just have to be the best person you can be, one day at a time." And everybody in the audience claps and weeps a little, because the level of deep feeling has been touched, and they want to believe that the power of forgiveness is greater than the power of consequence or history. Dear Abby, my father is a businessman who travels. Actually, this is sort of my Miss Lonely Hearts poem, I think. Anyway, dear Abby, my father is a businessman who travels. Each time he returns from one of his trips, his shoes and trousers are covered with blood. But he never forgets to bring me a nice present. Should I say something? Signed, America. I used to think I was not part of this, that I could mind my own business and get along. But that was just another song that had been taught to me since birth, whose words I was humming under my breath as I was walking through the Springdale Mall.